Today, I'm going to give you 5 tips that you can take to your next book selling event and increase the money in your pocket without breaking a sweat. Stay tuned for the green. Hey there, welcome back to the channel. I'm John Hartness. I'm the founder and publisher of Falstaff Books and the author of 42 different novel-length works, including The Black Knight Chronicles, Bubba the Monster Hunter, and Quincy Harker Demon Hunter. I'm also the founder of the Saga Genre Fiction Writers Conference, where we teach science fiction, fantasy, mystery, thriller, horror, romance writers how to write better books and make more money. And one of the things that we talk about at Saga is how to hand sell books. Because hand selling books at either conventions or pop-up book fairs or whatever can be very lucrative. I sell tens of thousands of dollars worth of books every year at live events where I'm standing there talking to people, putting paper in their hands, and they're putting paper in my hands. And the paper I put in their hands has words on it. The paper they put in my hands has pictures of dead presidents. It's a very pleasant exchange. And here are going to be 5 tips that you can put into your strategy to increase your sales. Number 1, understand who you are and how you present, and accentuate the positive and try hard to hide the negative. I am a large man. I am 6'1", over 300 pounds, covered in tattoos with a big old beard. And I do a lot of shows with a lot of timid, introverted nerds. What happens, do you think, if someone walks up to my table and I immediately pop up out of the chair like I've got a pogo stick up my butt? They run away. I am a large individual. I look intimidating. I promise I'm not actually a mass murderer. I just look like one. And I do not adhere to the standard advice of you have to stand up and greet everyone. Because if I pop up out of my chair every time somebody walks up, 1, it's really hard on the knees. I'm not just fat, I'm old too. But 2, it terrifies people. It completely crushes sales. A lot of people that go to book fairs, go to science fiction conventions, go to all of these events where I'm selling books, they're very introverted. Be very, very quiet. I'm hunting introverts. I can't just leap up like a demented jack-in-the-box, or I'm not going to get any of their money because they're immediately going to turtle up and shut down and scurry away, just like so many of us did in the halls of our miserable high school and middle school experience. So I sit down a lot at my booth, despite every sales expert in the world saying, stand up and greet everybody. Well, those people don't look like they're a member of a biker gang, and they're probably wearing neckties or things. Technically, I do still own 2 neckties. I know where one of them is, and Daisy dragged one off to be her necktie. No matter where I put it, she finds it and drags it away. That is now her necktie. My cat likes Italian silk. Thanks. I own 2 expensive pieces of clothing, and my cat stole one of them. So tailor your presentation to who you are and where you are. I'm a big, scary looking guy. I know that. I don't hop up until someone engages back with me. Someone comes up to the table, hey, how you doing? What do you like to read? They start talking, I maybe point them to a book, I'm watching their body language, I'm checking out what they're wearing, because I profile customers based on their fandom. Most of the time, we nerds wear our fandom on our sleeve, or really our chest. I got a Black Panther t-shirt on under this dress shirt. I've got my Magic the Gathering tattoos, my Lord of the Rings tattoos. You can tell what I'm all in favor of, right? Your customers are the same way. Somebody walks up in a Supernatural t-shirt, I'm sending them towards Quincy Harker. Somebody walks up in a Clemson ball cap, I'm sending them towards Bubba. They wander up and it just says, bookworm? No, I'm a book dragon. Well, then I have to dig a little more, but I can probably send them towards some of our epic fantasy stuff that we publish and sell. So tailoring your pitch to your appearance and your strengths, and then paying attention to your customers and the clues they're giving you will do you a lot more favors than just automatically pitching your book. Second thing that will increase your sales, and a lot of you are going to find this either counterintuitive or offensive, and I don't care. Shut up, you talk too much. I know, right? The talking head redneck on YouTube is saying that you talk too much. But you probably do. I have watched more people talk themselves out of a sale than I've seen writers talk someone into actually buying a book. We're not used car sales folk. We're not trying to be Herb Tarlick. 12 of you are old enough to get that reference, but those 12 of you have already subscribed by now. We are giving someone something they already want. 9 times out of 10, if they've stopped at our table, they already love books. So they're predisposed. It's not a cold sale, but it will chill out very quickly if you go through the entire friggin' plot of your book while they're standing in front of you. The more you talk about the plot of your book, the fewer books you're going to sell. Nobody cares. They care that there's something interesting. They care that it's a genre. They care that there's a comp title that they might have liked. If you really love Pat Rothfuss's framed narrative, then you would really like R.R. Verdi's framed narrative epic fantasy. I don't need to tell you the plots of either of those books. If you really love the Dresden Files, you will enjoy the Black Knight Chronicles. I'm not going to tell you the plots of all 8 books. I'm just going to tell you that it's a light urban fantasy about a couple of comic book nerds who get turned into vampires and decide to play Batman by becoming private investigators. Boom, 15 seconds. I've given you everything you need to decide to give me your money. When someone is hooked, shut up. Let me phrase that differently so maybe it sinks in a little better. If they look really interested, like they want to buy your book, ask for their money and stop selling. It is easy to keep going and talk yourself right out of a sale. And you can see it. You can watch the curtain fall on their eyes. You have been in a relationship that went south, or you've been on a date that went terribly, and you've seen the same thing. You can look in someone's eyes and tell when they're 100% done listening to you. Well, that means that you should have shut up 30 seconds ago and you would have gotten the sale. But no, you've gone too far. You will not get them back by talking more. If you watch them shut down, give up. You've already blown it. If they continue to look really, really interested, shut up and take their money, just like the meme says. Stop talking yourself out of sales. You really want, number 3, is be sincere. Be honest and try to make a real connection, or as real as you can make in 30 seconds to 2 minutes talking to someone across a table full of books. I once did a show where I shared a booth with a guy who had 3 or 4 books out. But he had a great big pile of one book, and it was his first in a series. No matter what the person told him they were into, he handed them that book. And he was convinced that if he put the book in their hands, they were more inclined to purchase. He is empirically correct, but you're not trying to sell one book. You're trying to sell a book from them every time you release a book for the rest of your career. So I watched this guy. Someone came up to the table. What do you read? Oh, I only read Christian fiction. Oh, you should try this. And I'm sitting there staring at him like, what you talking about, Willis? There's nothing Christian in his horror novel. It ain't that. Somebody comes up and says, oh, I really only read romance. Oh, you should read this. Same book. Oh, I like really bloody horror. Hands him a book. Same book. There is no one-size-fits-all answer. Nobody can write a book that every single person in the world is going to love. If you don't believe me, go look at the reviews on something that is undeniably a classic, like, oh, To Kill a Mockingbird. Check out the 1-star reviews on that one if you think that it's possible to create a book that is universally loved. But this dude was just flat out lying to people. And I looked at him at one point and said, what are you doing? Well, I want to sell a lot of books. And I said, you want to sell a lot of books once, but those people are never going to buy another book with your name on the cover if they feel swindled. That's not my problem. I need to sell a lot of books this weekend. I was like, oh, okay, well, then you overspent on this show and you're panicking now. Not great. So be honest with people. People come up and ask me, do your books have romance? I'm like, meh. People fall in love in my books. I don't classify them as romantic books, because if you take the love story out of my books, the books still function. So by definition, they're not romance novels. They all have romantic elements in them because people like to fall in love. People like to get laid. And most people. But romantic elements are a part of normal life. So yes, there are romance elements in my books, and no, they are not romance novels. I'm very honest with people because I have 42 books and I want people to buy all or most of them. If you lie to a customer, you're never getting them back. Number 4, tight pitches. I know this is kind of the same as stop talking when you've got the sale, but you have to know what your book is about, and you have to be able to have a short and long pitch. The Black Knight Chronicles are light urban fantasy about a couple of comic book nerds who get turned into vampires and decide to play Batman by becoming private investigators. That's a pretty tight pitch, and yeah, it sounds rote because I've literally been using that same pitch for 15 plus years now on that same series. Then if someone says, well, tell me more, then I expand. There are 8 books. You can get the collected 1, 2, and 3, the collected 4, 5, and 6, 7 and 8 are standalones. Once I release book 9 in 2026, we'll bundle that into a three banger as well, and you can buy the whole 9-volume set in 3 hardcovers. That's coming later. It does this, it does that, it's set in Charlotte, I can go on longer, but I start from a very tight pitch. You need to rehearse it. You need to get it down to about 15 seconds. And you need to play off of people. Find a friend. Find a writer friend. Practice your pitch with them. Take their notes. You don't know what you look like when you're pitching. You don't know what you sound like. You don't know how you come off. Maybe you look really intimidating. Maybe you just never smile. Maybe you smile too much and people think you're a serial killer because you're always grinning at them. All of these are things that someone can tell you. So tighten up your pitches and practice them. And number five, you can do this final thing before you even pay for a table in an event. And this is the biggest one. We're going to do a deeper dive on this. Find blue water. What are you talking about? Go where there's not a ton of people doing the same thing. You've probably heard me say that writers are not my competition. That's correct. In the grand scheme of things, none of the people whose books I have on the shelf back here are competition for me. Anytime someone sells a book out in the universe, it's good for everyone who writes books. But on a micro level, I would rather be the only person at an event selling books, because then I'm going to get all of the book money in that event. Now, that's not to say that I'm going to go to a car show with my urban fantasy novels and expect to make a whole lot of money, because that's a silly place to try and sell books if everybody's there buying, I don't know, mufflers. I don't actually know what people buy at car shows. Are they just there to look at cars? Are they buying cars? Are they buying like shiny mufflers? Do people even buy shiny mufflers? You can tell I'm not a car guy. But when you are looking at an event to attend, see how many writers are going to be there. I know the big trend right now is all of these huge book writer-reader events with 100 different authors. That's going to be kind of tough, don't you think? Yeah, everybody there loves books. Maybe everybody there is there to buy 50 books and they can buy a ton of books from a bunch of people. But what if you go to an event where there's only like 4 people selling books and there's still a lot of people there who like to buy books? A blue ocean strategy is about going where the water is blue. What makes the water not blue? When there's a lot of sharks in it and they're chewing up all the little fishies. Trigger warning for people who get freaked out over watching Jaws. My point is that when you are choosing an event, find out how many people will be there selling the same thing as you. Find out where you're going to fit in the hierarchy of those people. I just did an event where there were 18 tables of people selling books. We ended up doing very well at that event. One, it was focused on nerdy stuff, and it was a holiday-themed event, so people were there to do their holiday shopping. But also, we had the biggest display and one of the most diverse selections of books there, because we're not just an author, we're a publisher as well with a very broad array of titles. So I knew that because we had a more diverse offering than an individual author could put forth, that I didn't need to sweat the fact that there were a bunch of other people selling books. Would I have preferred to be one of 10 people selling books instead of 18? Absolutely. But we still did very well. We worked hard and we sold well because of it. But when I'm looking at events to buy a booth at, I do look to see how many writers are there, how many publishers are there. Are any of these publishers bigger than me? Will they have more offerings than me? Will they have more guests at the con to drive traffic? When we're doing StokerCon in 2026 in Pittsburgh, I get the two major Pennsylvania cities that start with P confused. I apologize to everyone in Pennsylvania for that. It's in Pittsburgh. This will be our second time doing StokerCon. This year, we did StokerCon and did not sell very well at all because we didn't have anyone on programming talking up our press and driving traffic to the booth. This year, we'll have 4 people, all hopefully on programming, all talking up what we do and sending people back to the booth to buy things. That will give us a better ability to capitalize on the people that are there. So you really do need to choose your events based on whether or not the event is setting you up to succeed. I've had this conversation with many con runners over the past year. Guys, you've got too many people trying to sell books, and your pie is a finite size, so you're slicing the pie too thin for me to be profitable. So I'm staying home. Sorry. That's because the water's too red. If the water's too red, you're not going to make money. Now, a lot of these big multi-bajillion author signing events can be profitable if you're good at selling books. But if you're doing an event with 100 authors and you're a little fish in the pond, it's probably not going to be directly profitable for you. It may still be worthwhile if you make a lot of connections, if you find people of like interests that you can grow your career with. But just on selling paper, it's really hard if you're not one of the bigger names in the room to do that in a crowded field. So look for those events with 10 authors, 5 authors, 2 publishers, 4 publishers, not 20, not 30, not 50. That makes it a lot harder to get your $10, $20 per customer if you're fighting with a pile of people selling the same product. That's the core of a blue ocean strategy. So what are your tips for selling a lot of books? What are some of the things that you've learned hand selling books? Or what are things that turn you on or off about people trying to sell books to you at events? Leave a comment down below after you've hit that subscribe button and given us a little thumbs up. And hey, if you really love what we do here and you want to see your name featured in every video, just like these people here, you can sign up as a member. Some of you may have noticed a lot of your favorite creators talking about a change in YouTube's algorithms where a lot of our views have gotten throttled. Well, we've seen that here as well. So if you want to give us a like, give us a subscribe, those are free and really help out the channel. drop us a comment, tell me which cat you want me to corral and see in the next video, and tell me one of the best ways to sell you a book. Till next time, bye.